Hi guys, I'm Charlie Book Fanatic. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do my August wrap up, and if you think, isn't this a little bit early? We're only 2 weeks in. You're right, it is a little bit early, but I'm going to do a 3-week readathon after this week, and that basically means I'm going to wrap up the 6 books I have read so far this month, and I'm going to do a separate readathon wrap up. So let's do these statistics so far. I have read 1 book by a person of color, 5 of these books were written by female authors, and 1 of these books was written by a male author. 2 of these books were set in a country other than North America or England. 1 of these books has LGBTQ+ elements in it, and 1 of these books has people of color in it. 1 of these books is historical fiction, 4 of these books are contemporary, and 1 of these books is a fantasy. 2 of these books are young adult, 1 of these books is new adult, and 3 of these books are adult books. I give 1 2-star, 2 3-stars, 2 4-stars, and 1 5-stars. To start with my 2-star read, which was 5 Days in Paris by Danielle Steele. This is the Dutch edition of it. I normally really like Danielle Steele books. They're my guilty pleasure reads mostly, but this one was particularly annoying to me. The writing style was annoying me. Also, the main couple was love at first sight. This man has been married for 20 years. He was never fallen in love with another woman. He has never looked so far at another woman. And then he sees this woman in a hotel he is at in Paris, and he is instantly attracted to her. He falls in love with her after one night. And it is crazy, and I honestly don't get it. Also, his wife was particularly annoying, as well as his father-in-law, because they were constantly conspiring against him. First 3-star read is Maybe Not, which is a novella in a Maybe series by Colleen Hoover. There is the first book, which is Maybe Someday, which I have read and is one of my favorite books of the entire year. And there is a novella that takes place before Maybe Someday and during the events of Maybe Someday, and it follows Warren and Bridget, who are Sydney's and Rich's roommates, and their love story, and I really like this one. I don't like novellas. Like, this was too short to be a full-on love story and be really believable. It had a great writing style. Colleen Hoover is a great writer, and I enjoyed how Bridget was laid out, and I particularly got to know her a bit more. Don't judge me, but from Maybe Someday, I thought she was a bit of a bigger woman, and Warren was a bit of a pervert, but in this book, that all changed. Like, I really got to know their characters, and I like that. Then my other 3-star read, I just finished, and that is Resurgence by AJ Flower. This is the only book in these 6 books that's written by a male author, and I got this one from the publisher, which was Alize Press. Thank you to Alize Press. I am going to do a review on this book. I particularly enjoyed it. It could have done with a lot more editing because there were a lot of grammatical and spelling errors. It didn't really annoy me, but it was really noticeable, so that could have been edited out. Like, it could have done with 1 more draft. It's almost like it was an arc, but it's not. It's a full published copy. Apart from that, I thought it was a really fun adventure. There was a bit of insta-love in this. The main couple falls in love really fast, and I didn't like that, but also the main character was kind of doubting her love, so I guess that's okay. Also, I feel like I don't want this to be a standalone. I feel like there's more to be gotten from the 2 main characters, like there's more adventures. The main character in this book has crashed her plane into a parent's house, and it was kind of unbelievable how she got into the military, because she was set to go to an asylum, and then she got picked up from the hospital, and they saw her plane dive, and they were like, this was a really good maneuver. We didn't see a girl who was trying to commit suicide. We saw a girl who did a really good maneuver with her plane, and I was like, yeah, that's not really believable, but nonetheless, apart from that, I thought this was really fun, not gonna lie. I really enjoy reading it. It was a quick read, and I want more from this universe. My first 4-star read is Nina Is Not Okay by Shappi Khorsandi. This book has been recently published, and it has LGBTQ+ elements in it. I did a review on this, so I will link it down below. I won't go into too much detail on this, but I really love the characters in this book. I hated it at first, but when the story got on, I finally got why people were rating it so highly, and it was a really great story about a rape survivor. I fully enjoyed all of the themes that were explored in this novel and all of the character development the main character went through. If you want to know more of my thoughts, I will link the spoiler-free review down below. My second 4-star read was a reread for me, and that is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. This book has people of colour in it, and it is still one of my favourite books of all time. I still think Marisha Pessl has to write another novel, particularly another thriller, because this was so well thought out, and all the documents that were in this, like this, honestly, all the pictures that were taken just for this book, it was a really well thought out plot. And the characters I loved, especially the side characters, really added to the story. Scott McGrath is one of my favourite characters ever. I really love him. I love the suspense that was created in this book and the mystery around the horror filmmaker Cordova, because you honestly start to doubt everything. Like, is this true? Is this not true? Is Scott hallucinating? And my 1 5-star read so far is the second book in the Fire and Thorns trilogy by Carson, The Crown of Embers. I am in love with this book. The first book I was kind of neutral towards, The Girl, Fire and Thorns, because I had some comments about Elisa, who's the main character. She was supposed to be a bigger girl, but she wasn't a big girl for most of the book. She was only big in the beginning until she got to the desert, and then she had to walk a lot, and she got smaller and thinner. And in this book, it wasn't really explored anymore. There were some references to food. She still liked food, obviously, but she wasn't the big girl she was anymore. So I don't really get why people would commend the author on that. So that was a problem I had with the first book. But I didn't have that in the second book because it wasn't brought up as much. The main character goes through so much character development. I really came to care for her, especially in this book. And also the main couple, so swoon-worthy. Honestly, I really have butterflies in my stomach while reading this. And I just need a third book in this trilogy. I don't think it will be long until I read that one at all. So these are the 6 books I've read in August so far. Let me know down below what you have read in August so far. Have you read any of the books I have read? And what did you think about them? Thank you for watching. Goodbye!